Hi, everyone. It's highly reviewed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. And now it's the start of the podcast where we say that what the name of the show is highly reviewed. We did that. And then I introduced myself. I'm Richard. And today my special guest is
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Right. So we just watched
The Greasy Strangler.
the Greasy Strangler, and that was a movie that you recommended. Why?
I'd seen it years before with some of the people who might listen to this recording, and it was so fucked up and weird, and we've made so many jokes about it over the years, but I haven't watched it again and couldn't remember just how outrageous it was, so I thought it would be a total adventure for you, for us to kind of fucking try to figure out what the fuck just went on.
It was really, it was an adventure. You're right.
We had to change realities.
We did, and I changed the reality a couple times. I think this is my fourth reality I'm on right now, so who knows where we'll go in a couple minutes. But so and one of those realities was the Greasy Strangler, which was, I feel like I got it. And maybe it's just me being super high right now, but I feel like...
You feel like you've got this figured out?
I got the movie, yeah.
Okay.
Like, if I was just in a regular sober, I wouldn't have given myself the chance to get through it. I'd been like, fuck this movie.
You would have just turned it off at some point.
Why are you making me watch this? But because I'm, like, so elevated right now, I can be like, I know exactly what this movie is about.
Okay.
So
I want to hear it.
Okay.
Because this is my second time seeing it, and I'm HAF.
Yes.
And I'm so confused right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I will try to beam my thoughts into your brain about why this movie worked for me, being so high. All right. So first, let's describe what this movie is. Well, for one, it's beautifully shot.
I agree. There was lots of artistry in the angles and the colors and the juxtaposition of buildings and nude old men and just the way they did the lighting and the repeated dancing that went on for awkwardly long times.
Yes.
All of it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. So there's that. It's also, dear listeners, it is like an absurdist movie. Like, I don't think we can talk about the plot because there's not really... I mean, there is a plot in the archetypal sense, but not in, like... It's not worth mentioning anything that happens in this movie.
It's true. It doesn't follow one train of thought all the way through. It hops around so much and leaves you guessing constantly, and you can't quite decide which energy to settle into for them because you're competing with your own realities of like what's actually right and wrong and this and that, and what if I let go of right and wrong concept, and then you follow your own rabbit hole to try and fit what the fuck's going on there.
Right.
Oh.
But there was one specific thing that does happen in the movie that is worth really highlighting, and that was eating eyeballs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so you tell us, Cynthia.
Oh my God.
Tell us about eating eyeballs.
No, the eyeballs. The eyeballs are the worst. Oh, when he strangles his victims so hard that their eyeballs start bulging, and you know they're going to pop out, and you're hoping they don't, but then they do, and it's just the shocking thing ever, and I'm cringing, and then he catches them and fries them and eats them, and you know they're hot and juicy, and when the outside pops, the hot water's going to run into the mouth, and you imagine what that's going to feel like, and that's so repulsive, and it just takes you down so many...
Oh my God. This was exactly the answer I was hoping to get, because as you can hear, she's thought about this quite a lot. Yeah. It wasn't like she answered, oh, it was gross. No, it was like a good minute run there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So she obviously has... This is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a visceral physical
It was.
experience for me.
I mean, in a movie that is frankly filled with insane shit like that, that she reacted the same every time to this one particular part. It just stands out.
Yeah, that was weird. And it's funny to see what it is for different people and what that might mean for them or might not.
Yeah.
So you're trying to figure that person out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And like for me, it was the scene where the son is describing his books and what his stories that he's writing, and
it was like an 11 or 12-year-old girl.
It just was
and
so
the fantasy land.
Yeah, it is so strong for me because I taught like middle school English for like 15 years, and that's exactly what it would sound like. This kid would be like, Mr. Corvia, let me tell you about this really amazing story that I've written. And I'm just like, I'm their teacher, so I'm like, yes, wow, oh, I want to encourage your creativity. But inside, I'm like, Jesus fuck. This is the worst fucking story I've ever heard. Like,
oh man.
But he said he outlined one of his stories. I was like, oh my God, that would be a great movie. What was that?
That's one where he's talking about revenge.
Oh,
when revenge is okay in the future.
No, not okay.
No, it's not okay in the future. But you can hire a revenge specialist company to enact revenge for you.
Yeah.
And now I've just lost my thought.
Well, that would be a great movie. Like,
oh yeah, but the ironic thing is that's what he was describing his deepest feelings as being that he wanted to do towards her and his dad.
Yeah.
So it was cute.
Right. So yeah, this movie is beautiful and really gross, as we learned about the eyeballs.
Oh. Ugh.
Right.
I'm gonna
like
throw
all
up
kinds of
it.
the movie's filled with gross stuff like that. Like all kinds of gross nudity. And
he bends over and spreads his cheeks at a crowd of people to make them go away.
Right.
His saggy man buns, his saggy grandpa.
Okay, but this reminds me, like,
and he leaves his pants down for an uncomfortably long time.
This part of the movie you reminded me was like when I felt like I got what this movie was all about.
Oh gosh, what was the scene?
And that was that. Oh, there are no normal people in this world, right?
Oh,
they're all like this. So for them, this guy pulling his pants down, talking with his butt cheeks, like that's a normal experience.
Yeah.
Like, because we're in two different like they're in an absurdist world where the absurd is normal.
Like a little more crazy is actually normal.
Like in their weird world, they're watching movies of like us, just like
being normal.
Like just like
and thinking we're super
hey Joe,
weird.
Did you see the Super Bowl last night? You know, I'm like, oh. So they would be as grossed out by our just like casual normal interactions as we are grossed out by their absurdity.
Yes, I think that's a good theory.
I think that's why
it's still hard for me to imagine that part of that shift though, so it's hard for me to get into that one.
Yeah, I mean, once I just felt like, oh, this is an absurdist movie, I stopped being grossed out and thinking it was weird.
And then seeing more of the artistry of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm like, oh, this is actually a very intentional film. It's like, this was not shot as a comedy. This is not a comedy. Even though it's like, we're kind of repulsed and want to laugh at this stuff.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I never would have thought of those words for it, but you're right. It was an artistic, absurdist piece.
And probably the people listening,
to, like, think of things too,
the people listening to this are probably like, those motherfuckers are really high, because they just watched the grossest, sickest ass movie, and they're all like, "Oh man, this is very high art here."
Oh man.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Why are they like? I was settling into my podcast, ready to laugh that they watched the Greasy Strangler,
what a stupid,
and this is the most
movie.
boring discussion.
And we're like, wow, this is actually a piece of art.
Yeah, like
wow, there's a lot of intention in this. Strangeness.
Like, these motherfuckers are so
all it was is
like
total cuckoo.
Yeah, it's just total nonsense. So, okay, so
how did you like all those naked male pee-pee shots? Did it make you uncomfortable?
No. It's so, I mean, again, like the absurd, you know, is like, is Have you ever seen a dick like that?
No.
Okay, neither have I.
I mean,
So,
not like that. No, it was like kind of old and misshapen, but it was still like long and thick. So there's like some
I hear what you're saying,
strange
Cynthia.
appeal to it with a lot of repulsion, but it's still kind of like, okay, there might be a little something there.
Oh my god.
You know I'm right.
Ah! I mean, a lot like the eyeball thing, you know? She could have answered way differently. She could have been like, no, I haven't seen any gross dicks like that. Gross. But no, she's like, let me launch into a 2 or 3 minute prepared speech. Like,
that was not prepared.
Thank you, Richard, for finally asking if I've ever seen such, like, now... This topic, which I've mulled over in my mind for years,
Yes.
I've obsessed over weird dicks. I am now ready.
Yeah, I secretly have a fetish about
Yes.
weird dicks.
Friends,
I'm on the weird dicks
Romans,
Reddit.
countrymen, let me tell you of dick.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, okay. Continue telling us more about these experiences you've
No,
had
that's
with
all. That's all. That's all. That's
the
all.
slightly arousing but gross old man dick.
None other than just being high
Right.
and a little horny, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so there you have it. Greasy Strangler makes women horny.
Some, maybe just some. I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it for a friend.
Okay, Jesus. Okay, do we recommend this movie? Do you recommend this movie?
I do recommend this movie. This movie really needs to be experienced so you can experience the mind-twisting mindfuck of a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like creating new neural pathways or something. Because it was that kind of an exercise.
It's like you're looking through the window into another reality. I also recommend this movie. Yeah, I thought it was... I would definitely... And I would say beware watching it sober and alone. Probably the only way to not watch this movie. But with a lot of friends sober and or alone high. But not that lower.
What would it mean if you were sober and you found it hilarious? Now that's something else to consider.
Then you live in the world of the absurd. You just be like, yeah. I know. That would be a terrifying person to me. I feel like... Is that you? Are you like every Wednesday night? Like sitting in bed with your iPhone. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. And you're watching this.
Watching the Greasy Strangler.
Yeah, for the 5,000th time.
Oh, man.
Writing in your Greasy Strangler journal, day 5022.
No,
I found
but
this time was like...
Watching this
The scent
sober...
of roasted almonds.
Watching this sober and getting your genuine reaction to this might be like a true insight, like a deep look into yourself. So maybe it's a good way to kind of reflect and see if that's your combination, then what does that mean about you?
Right. And this movie, it's like a Cosmo, are you compatible with him test, you know? It's like, ladies, watch this with your man. And if he doesn't vibe the same way you vibe about the Greasy Strangler, then he's not the man for you.
That might raise some serious questions about the status of things.
That's right. Is he grossed out at eyeballs?
What does that mean if he is?
He better be.
How twisted might they be if that's what they're repulsed by?
So that's what this movie is. So I recommend it too. Okay.
It's a good reality check.
All right. See you next time.
Signing off.